Before I get started, I want to apprise the audience that this is a live chat, a live um, phone call chat. So if something in the discussions interests you to the point where you want to have a discussion about it, feel free to call in. The area code is 870-571-3995, right? But before we get into boxing, let's discuss a little world view, right? As we know, uh, Donald Trump has been um, elected. Shout out to Chip Sale. Salute to you, brother. Donald Trump has been elected as the what 47th president of the United States, and I don't know if it's been made public, but there was some entertainers that um, elected to come to the inauguration and do an appearance. And one was Snoop Dogg, excuse me, and the other was Nelly, right? Um, I think it's noteworthy to mention that last election, Snoop Dogg took the approach that anybody, quote unquote, that decided to um, go on and make a showing during the last President Trump's inauguration, right? That Snoop Dogg was going to basically roast him and eat him alive because uh, Snoop Dogg felt that Donald Trump shouldn't have been elected as president in the last election, but for some strange reason, he has changed his position and now believes that Donald Trump is the greatest thing to the African American community and to the African American per se. Right now, that is Snoop Dogg's opinion. Right, me personally, I don't have an opinion about Donald Trump. Right, Donald Trump is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is actually the representative of all the things that he believes in, right? And we all have a belief system and are entitled to those beliefs. But when the belief system starts to impose its will on humanity and the next man, then I have a problem with that, right? But as it stands today, I don't have a legitimate claim against Donald Trump because, actually speaking, Donald Trump represents the same dialogue, the same interests that has been in existence for over 400 years, especially as it pertains to the black Americans, right? So, for me to have an argument with Donald Trump, it would be fruitless. For me to have had an argument with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris would be fruitless based on the fact that none of these people have done a darn thing for the African American community. Now, I could point fingers at the fact that every other race that has been under fire in one sense or another, whether it was the Japanese who were interned during World War II, or whether it was the Jewish community that had been sent to certain camps when Hitler was in charge, right? Those people were made whole by certain political positions that were taken that made them comfortable for sacrificing the things that they did during those times, right? But for some reason, beyond my ability to understand, the black Americans have never been compensated for being enslaved, for being deprived of their right to live in their country. It's an assortment and an arrayment of different things that have been done to the African American people that have never been compensated, right? And I personally take offense to that. Not saying that that means anything, but me as an individual who has the intellectual ability to recall and to speak on the things that were and are still detrimental to African American people. President Trump had the holds the position that Barack Obama, right, when he was in office, did absolutely nothing for the African American community. I hate to say, I hate to say that that is correct, right? But this goes into the conversation that I just brought to the attention of the fan base or the chat, right? And that is, no one has did anything to uplift and bring about change for the African American community, right? And I will say that even though Barack Obama never had the chance to do anything for the African American community, even given the fact that when Barack Obama was president, he had both chambers of commerce at his disposal, both Democratic chambers at his disposal, and he could still get nothing done. Why is that? Does anybody know why Barack Obama was not able to get anything done, to have been in a position where Donald Trump would be able to say that Barack Obama never did anything for the black community? It's transparently easy to see and to say that the reason for why Barack Obama didn't have an opportunity to do anything for the black American community or any other community, because racism exists today as it did when Barack Obama was in office. And you can easily say that because Barack Obama had, again, the Congress and the Senate at his disposal. Both Democratic chambers was at his disposal. And if you ask Barack Obama, he'll tell you the same thing I'll tell you. And Michelle Obama took note of that. And that is why Michelle Obama doesn't participate in everything that Barack Obama does when it comes to the Democratic scheme of things. Michelle Obama was not at the inauguration, Barack Obama was. Okay? I think I've made my point, right? The fact that I'm trying to convey at this juncture is we as a people need to come together and stop killing each other, right? And unite, build up from nothing and make it out of something. We can do it. But we have to first stop we are idiots. We are idiots. I'm going to make reference to some of the people that I know personally that are idiots. I'm not going to point their names out. You know who you are, right? But I will say Snoop Dogg, Nelly, and people of worth and political sway and monetary gain. They're idiots because they spend more time buying cars, buying homes, buying watches, all material, but they don't own anything that represents historical presidents. As far as when they leave here, they'll leave something behind to be remembered by. As far as the African American, as far as the African American community is concerned, we, you, and I need to stop pointing fingers at one another and start trying to implement some type of institution, not a diamond ring or a Mercedes Benz or Rolls Royce or $250 million home. We need to create institutions. It isn't like we can't do it, but the thing that hinders us from moving forward in that regard is us. We are too busy destroying one another's image rather than stepping up to the plate and embracing one another like every other race does except us. I got somebody who I know personally could help me through my trying time with this podcast. Do you think they do it? Why not? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you help your brother? If you have the same belief system as I do, why wouldn't you help your brother? It's absolutely unbelievable, but it is a fact. It's been a fact for over 250 years. It's been a fact, right? We have been conditioned to hate one another. We have been conditioned to prevent one another from coming together and moving forward. We have been conditioned to be this way, right? And you know who the perpetrator of these acts are. You know who it is, right? Need I say who he is and has been for over 250 years? Look, it's time to stop being stupid. You and you and you. And you know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Arrogance will kill anything. Anyway, let's do some boxing. I think the point is well made. I think the point is well taken. But let's see. Let's see all you billionaires, all you millionaires, all you black billionaires, black millionaires, right? I got a phone number associated with this particular chat for all y'all that think you better than the next man. Okay? Hit me up. Hit me up. Shout out to Bruce Jazz Boxing. No, Bruce Gas Boxing, Jazz, and more. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you, Lillian Gordon, and keep supporting the channel because it's gonna stay hot. I'm gonna keep on. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep my foot on their necks, right? Until somebody have the integrity, right, to get on board and help me push this machine because that's what I'm trying to create. I'm trying to create a machine, right? Been trying to create one all my life, but before I leave this planet, I'm gonna create a machine. You know what I mean? With you or without you, I'm gonna somehow muster up enough intellect to be able to create some type of legacy to leave behind for my brothers and sisters. That's what I'm talking about. What you talking about? The number, area code 870-571-3995. And the email address is associated with the chat. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm not in a position where I can do like a how do you say that? Where I can ask for donations or whatever the case may be, because I'm not monetarily attached to my channel as we speak. But I'm going to get there, and when I do, all hell is going to break loose, right? Let me get a few dollars up on my bill, and I'm gonna show you how to make something happen historically in nature. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't greedy. I ain't greedy, right? I mean, I did quite well for myself and my family, right? But that's not enough. I want to be able to do something magnificent for the world. You heard me? For the world. Who thinks and talks like that? Who thinks and talks like me? Of the same color? Nobody! Because don't nobody give a damn in. Okay? But we're going to try to change that, right? Because I know the things that I say are definitely interesting, to say the least. Now, let's talk about this boxing. Okay? Y'all got it? Okay, good. Now, they, the master of boxing, that's what I'm going to call it, the master of boxing, Turki Al-Sheikh, is and should be called the master of boxing, right? Because he's trying to do the same thing I'm trying to do for my community, right? He's trying to do the same thing for his country, and I get it. That's a wonderful thing, Turki Al-Sheikh, and that's another thing that I need to make mention of. I am trying to devise a way to have personal contacts with Turki Al-Sheikh, right? And there is people that I know personally that has ties to Turki Al-Sheikh. They know that I want to have contact with Turki Al-Sheikh. But for me to come up and say, hey man, won't you? I'm not doing that. Why should I have to? Right? For you to come up with some erroneous explanation for why not, right? I'm not going to do myself like that. I'm not going to put you in a position where you're going to be lying to me, right? Oh, I can't, man, don't get me started about a liar. A liar is worse than a thief to me, right? a liar, right, his credibility is worthless. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a damn how much money a liar has. His credibility at the end of the day is worthless. You know what I'm saying? And until he understands that human, I'm talking about humans in general, until they learn that you don't have to lie to gain the things that you want in life, right? You don't have to worry about me, right? Because I'm gonna give you 50 feet. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you 50 feet. But back to subject matter. Well, I love this. I love being intelligent enough. And that came from years and years of putting myself in a position where I was getting socked up, you know what I'm saying, psychologically and intellectually by those that was in the intellectual. No, I got just so tired of that, right? That I did something about it. Autodidactic. Look up the word. I'm not going to tell you what that is. Autodidactic. Right. I did that. And you can hear autodidactic in my verbiage. Okay. Autodidactic. Look it up, people. And drop a comment in the comment section and tell me what you think about autodidactic. Let me see if I can spell it. AUTODICATI. Dick. C. Autodidactic. Right? Look it up in the dictionary. Spell it out. Have Google pull it up for you. Okay? Or you want me to. Now, as a matter of fact, what else do we have to do besides look up autodidactic? How about it? Autodidactic. 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 For some strange reason. Autodidactic. Huh. My phone actually. Let me see something. Let me try it another way. Because I am definitely interested in okay, letting y'all to die. There it is. Okay. AUTODIDACT. Autodidactic. AU D excuse me AUTO AUTODIDACTIC. Autodidactic. Look up the word. I'm not going to tell you what it means, but once you see and interpret the meaning of the word and listen to the things that I say, right, and note that I have taken the liberty of autodidactically, right, inspired myself to an intellectual rising beyond the norm. You might want to do it yourself because it is so soothing to be in a position where can't nobody talk over your head. And there was a time in my life when I couldn't understand nothing that was being said per se in a intellectual gathering. It would be a conversation would be discussed, right, and it was just going right over my head, pew pew pew, and I was like, I'm sick of that, and I did something about that, right? I did something about that because I got tired of people saying stuff that could easily been directed at me. You know what I'm saying? But after I did that, I took the liberty of going to a intellectual gathering, right? And just sat there. The intellectual gathering was about an hour. And I sat there for that hour with my hands across my chin and I listened. And when that hour was up, I walked away from there feeling the satisfaction of not missing a darn thing that was said in that intellectual gathering. And since then, you can't talk over my head, people. Forget it. Okay. Now, let's do some boxing, man. This is what this boxing. This is what this challenge is really about. It's about boxing. That's right. Remember to guard your. Welcome to the live chat. Remember to guard your privacy, which means your mouth, right? So, okay. Listen, Turkey Al Sheikh put together one hell of a show, one hell of a card, right? And it featured a number of boxers that we all have interest in, right? One being Devin the Dream Haney, the other being uh, Ryan Garcia, the other being the second half of that card. Um, Isaac Pitbull Cruz and Jose Ramirez, right? Now, I don't know what was being thought about when they decided to pit Ryan Garcia with Isaac Pitbull Cruz. That and there are circumstances around centering around this particular card, right? Though meaning that Ryan Garcia has to win over Isaac Pitbull Cruz before he can move on in the column along with the win to be in a position where if Devin Haney beats Jose Ramirez, right, that they would then turn around and have a rematch for, via Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, the ultimate grudge match, the ultimate rematch, given Devin Haney's loss to Ryan Garcia. And the circumstances floating around that loss, right, makes the fight more intriguing, right? People want to see that rematch because they don't know for certain whether Ryan Garcia won that fight on the merits or whether he won it because he cheated with the Austrian that he had in his system that he got found guilty of having in his system. And that's what makes this fight so controversial, right? People want to see this fight. There's a lot of different elements in this particular fight that people want to see it, right? So here's the deal, though. That can't be done if in the event that Ryan Garcia gets in the ring with Isaac Pitbull Cruz and loses. And that, my friend, is one hell of a possibility. I don't know who came up with Isaac Pitbull Cruz versus Ryan Garcia, right? Isaac Pitbull Cruz, he may be shorter, but he can outbox, in my opinion, Ryan Garcia, right? So I guess Ryan Garcia came to that interpretation, right, and made mention of that. I guess the Turkey Al Sheikh. These are all the subjects, but they are logical inferences based on the fact that that fight was canceled. Ryan Garcia versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz was canceled, right? And they turned around and put a likable and a person that Ryan Garcia potentially could whoop. Let me say this. Ryan Garcia win over Devin Haney, in my opinion, was a fluke, right? The fact of the matter is, in my highly educated opinion, that that fight between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney was predicated on Devin Haney going into that ring ill-advised, ill-equipped, psychologically and physically, with the mindset to whoop Ryan Garcia. Something was off that night, and I'm not making excuses for Devin Haney. I'm telling you what I believe as the result of the two boxers and their professional abilities when it comes to boxing, right? Ryan Garcia has a left hook, right? I think he has 21 wins, one loss, right? 15 knockouts, 15, 16 knockouts, right? He has a nice margin that he's working with. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, most of the fights that Ryan Garcia had were cherry picks. It's just with me, in my boxing experience, Ryan Garcia isn't that boxer that I believe that merits or wants being one of the elites. He just doesn't have that. He just doesn't have that. What Ryan Garcia does have, and that's what catapults him in the position in, is showmanship. He's a heck of a showman, right? And people love that. They gravitate towards Ryan Garcia because of his showmanship abilities, right? He makes people feel the way that they need to feel in order to get where he needs to go, right? And that's a big fan base. And he has that, right? So, but as far as his boxing skills are concerned, the fight between him and Devin Haney, right? You could kind of I could sense that Ryan Garcia was scared. He was scared. He knew, right, that Devin Haney could box his ears off. He knew this. He had on prior occasions said that out of all the four horsemen that in those days that was to be considered to fight Ryan Garcia took notice to the fact that Devin Haney would have been the hardest fight of his career, right? He went in there with that mindset, right? So I'm saying to you is Ryan Garcia had to up his game or do something to be competitive with Devin Haney. That's where the estrogen came in, right? The steroids, if you will, right? Ryan Garcia took a banned substance in order to be in a position where he could compete based on the fact that he knew that he wasn't as good of a boxer as Devin the Dream Haney. He knew this, right? But on that particular night, Devin Haney also, in my opinion, went in there with the mindset of Ryan Garcia could potentially win. That's not the type of mindset that you let your boxer go into the ring with, right? The mindset, right, that he could potentially lose. You know what I mean? A trainer can sense and feel these things from his boxer, right? I've said this before. I don't think that Devin Haney went in there with the right information the night that he lost, pursuant to Garcia versus Haney. I made that public. Right. So, to make a long story short, now, since it's been rethought out, right, I'm assuming by Turkey LSC that this grand spectacle that he is preparing, right, Devin Haney versus Isaac Cruz, Devin Haney versus Jose Ramirez, which is an excellent boxer as well. Devin Haney got his a lot on his plate dealing with Jose Ramirez. But I think if Devin Haney goes in there with the right mindset, right? If Devin Haney goes in there with the boxing desire to be a champion again, because right now I don't know if he has that, right? Because again, I'll say this, and I've said it before. He's in a state of his career, right, where he vacillates. He vacillates with his abilities, right? I don't know if he's getting it wrong. I don't know, right? I haven't talked to the kid. I've tried to talk to the kid, right? And I believe I have something to say to the kid, right? But for some strange reason, they won't make the kid available to me, right? And sometimes in a boxer's career, he needs to hear something different from somebody else. For somebody who has been in the game, right? Who has been in the game, and they can see things that look. This is the same scenario that I had when I went to Vegas and went to Mayweather's gym and seen an upcoming champ. Not going to mention his name, right? And I saw flaws, right? Quite naturally, I'm going to see flaws because I was one of the ones that believed that I had the compunction to be great. So being in a position where I notice certain things it's normal behavior for me. It's normal because when I boxed, it was like I wanted to be the best in the world. I wanted to be that damn good where I would be talked about later on in life. But I made a mistake and made a fool of myself and didn't get that far. But the fact of the matter is, I maintained all those viable instruments, boxing instruments. You know what I'm saying? Punches are instruments. You know what I'm saying? I can call them instruments because I know what. Excuse me. Because I'm gonna throw the chats. I know. I know. The accuracy of boxing, right? So sometimes you need somebody on the outside to come in and say, "Look, check this out, champ," and not even champ. Check this out, Devin, right? Because I never got the opportunity to tell that young man that to me, he's Devin Haney. He's, you know what I'm saying? I can't. Everybody can't blow smoke up his butt. A champion, right? He has to have somebody on the outside that sees him as an inspiring young man that wants to do great things and have the visual ability to make that person feel that way. I have that. That's my gift from the Creator. But a lot of people, I don't know, they like, damn, I ain't letting that cat. You know what I'm saying? I ain't letting that cat have conversation with my son. My son's the undisputed, the former undisputed lightweight champion of the world, right? Why would I do that? You know what I'm saying? But that's the disparity. This disparity is the disparity, right? Is that people don't want to allow a person to help each other. You know, I mean, that's just consistent with who we are as a people. And again, it is so foul and redundantly difficult. Excuse me, redundantly difficult, right? So, but back to the matter at hand. So, what Turkey Al-Sheikh did, I guess it was Turkey. I'm assuming that part. I didn't get that far down the food chain when it came to the information that I gathered in regards to the issue, right? But somebody in the promotional side of things determined that Ryan Garcia might get whooped by Abdul Cruz, so we need to switch him up and get a competitive partner for Ryan Garcia. And they came up with the ideal person. Ryan Garcia might, if Rolly Romero, that's the partner, new partner, if Rolly Romero is the same Rolly Romero that I always said was untrainable, then Ryan Garcia stands a chance of beating Rolly Romero. But if Rolly Romero has gotten out of the habit of not being able to be trained, he'll whoop Ryan Garcia also. So I don't know. It's just a touchy situation for the promoters in this particular incident because the grand scheme relies on Devin Haney winning his fight and Ryan Garcia winning his fight to go up the chain to be able to make the big fight, the rematch, right? So that is something that is kind of like up in the air for this fight to go to the next level, to the next stage, for it can be considered as a major fight, right? And the card that these boxers are on, they have Martin Vocali, right? The heavyweight. That kid, I had the opportunity to do some tape on him, and that Vocali is good. He is actually good. He got a stiff, mean jab, right? And he know how to throw punches. You know what I'm saying? That makes him a perfect candidate for anybody in that division, right? And I need to take notice to the fact that, in my personal opinion, Anthony Joshua, right? They keep playing Anthony Joshua name along with the great heavyweights, with the good heavyweights, I should say, because a lot of people think he's great, but me personally, I just don't think that Anthony Joshua is a good candidate to be considered as one of the elites in the heavyweight division, right? He just isn't. He just doesn't have the skill set or the promise of being a great boxer. Sorry. I mean, I gotta tell it like it is. You know what I'm saying? But if anybody have any comments to make before I get up out of here, because the phone is open. Area code 870-571-3995, right? You can feel free to jump on in there and have a conversation. Lillian Gordon, I am so happy to have you having join the channel, and I look forward to some days having a conversation with you. How about that? How about that? Okay. And Bruce, Gaz, boxing, jazz, and more, shout out to you. And Nasip Ramini is back as well. And shout out to everybody in the chat. But I've held on long enough. I'll probably be back later on because I'm starting to feel my Cheerios, my oats when it comes to boxing, and I gotta let you know about this boxing game. Because can't nobody deliver this boxing game but a person that has actually lived boxing. I live boxing. That being said, hit that subscription button, hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, and let me know if you think that Ryan Garcia and Pitbull was a good fight. And share the video with your friends and relatives. That is all I have for right now, and maybe I'll be back later. Until then, peace out.